Hey everyone, it's Brett from Misfit Media, and I'm here with Chris Smith, who is a client of ours and the owner of a restaurant concept called Zunzi's. He's got two locations in Georgia, and today we're going to talk about what he's been doing during COVID to thrive on during this time, um, and also what new venture he actually has come up with during COVID to create another revenue stream for himself. So, Chris, how you doing?
Awesome, man. It's crazy times, but like I've been telling everybody, the key is to have the right mindset. So you got to keep staying positive.
Absolutely. Yeah, mindset is so crucial right now. Actually, I've spoken to three people in this last week that have said the same thing. Mindset is everything right now. Mindset is because the thing about it is so many people are so down on themselves, right? So many people
Right.
are acting like this is the worst thing ever before they even take a shot at trying to succeed during this time. So mindset is huge. Tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe even how you got in the restaurant space, Chris.
Yeah, man. So I've been in the restaurant business for about 12 years. I got into it as a Five Guys franchisee. So I was straight out of college, kind of pitched it to my parents. I was going to go to law school, tried Five Guys and was like, hey, this is pretty awesome. Let's do this, make money together instead of you paying for my law school. And so was thrown into the fire. Spent my last year training at a franchisee's location in Jacksonville, Florida. Went to the University of Florida, and so that was my senior year, not the normal senior year you would have in a big SEC school like that, but
Yeah.
it turned out well. So um, then, with that process, we secured the territory of coastal Georgia and South Carolina, which that put me kind of headquartering our operations out of Savannah, Georgia. And from 2007 to 2015, we built 7 locations. And
Wow.
and then 2017 ended up selling. And so, kind of in that process, found Zunzi's, which is this South African inspired restaurant located in Savannah. Started in 2005, and actually the first time I tried it, it was 2008 when I had first moved to Savannah, and
Yep.
I said someday I'm going to buy that, and someday I'm going to franchise it.
I love it.
And so I saw that it had all the components of a successful franchise. It had a unique name, it had a unique offering, um, it had a unique motto. Our motto, shit yeah. And so
Yes.
it
I love
had,
that.
from yeah. So from what I was looking for with a successful franchise, it had concept, location, and operations. And so it had the concept checked. Operations were a really big opportunity. It was just at that time it was just a family run business, and so they were there. But I knew that could be streamlined. And then it was actually operating with the line wrapped around the building every day of like 50 customers, with really like a kind of a dumpy patio, nothing fancy. So there was demand with still an opportunity in operations and a poor location. So
Mhm.
they had a successful business, and I knew with it being cleaned up and streamlined at some point, it could be a good franchise. So
Yeah.
was able to transition for Five Guys, buy Zunzi, spent a couple years streamlining it, opened Atlanta a couple years ago, and now we're in the middle of franchising.
I love it. So you basically saw a concept that you just really liked, saw huge potential for, got in the business, bought it, and now you're doing the franchise goal, which you have, which is fantastic. Um, I think that's so cool. I think that's such an awesome story, and I do love your guys' tagline of shit. Yeah, it's so funny. Even here, that team at Misfit, I have some of our employees who are saying it to each other now once in a while. It's
Nice.
it's hilarious. It's hilarious. I love your guys' tagline. Right here it says, "Here at Zunzi's, we want you to have such a great experience that you can't help from saying shit yeah. If at any point you don't feel that way, let us know and we'll make it right. We promise." That is so cool. That is so
Right.
cool.
And so that's our brand promise. And actually when
Yep.
I, bought the restaurant, it was really just a very organic thing that they had some kind of hipster employee who said shit yeah at the end of every sentence. So it's kind of this thing that the South African founder Johnny thought was funny.
That's
And
so
that's how
cool.
it just came on. So he'd be like, hey, shit yeah, baby, with his accent. And it was just funny. The guests loved it. And then me thinking on the more of the franchise side, I was like, how do I take this that could be somewhat controversial? So I kind
Yes.
of dive in, I dove into it, and I was like, well, if our guests are saying it, that's a positive thing. But then I was
Yes.
like, why are our guests saying it? And what I really found after a couple of years was they really identified with the brand. They knew what Zunzi's was at the core, and they were our best walking advertisement. And
Yes.
so now shit yeah is really our battle cry, and it's also a litmus for our operations that what we say is if our guests aren't leaving saying shit, yeah, they may have said it's the best sandwich, the best experience they've ever had. But if they aren't saying shit, yeah, as they leave, then it didn't check that box. And
That's
so it
so
creates a
cool.
high standard of us engaging with them.
Yep.
And really, we define it as exceeding the guest expectation.
Yep.
So, for some people, that could be leaving them alone. They just want to be left alone with their headphones on. For other people, it could be we want them to hold their hand, and walk them through our menu. So we have to really have emotional intelligence and train that with our team members, so they
Yes.
can give each individual a unique yeah experience.
And it's like you said, it's catchy, it's fun, it's somewhat controversial.
Right.
It's one of those things where I remember even after that first onboarding phone call we had with you, was it with Willie and someone else, or was it just Willie? Do you remember from our
I think
team?
it was with you and Willie, I think. Yeah.
Okay. And I think Willie, I remember mentioning the rest of the team. She goes, their tagline is shit, yeah. And the whole team turns and says, what? She's like, no, shit, yeah, is what they say. I was like, yeah, they do. It's shit, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
it's cool and it's funny. And now literally our team says it once in a while to each other. Obviously now in quarantine, we're all working from home. Obviously I'm at my home office, but it's something that you can't help but remember. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um,
And so we found that is that, there's, we'll be walking down the street and you'll hear someone say, shit, yeah,
yeah.
if they see your Zunzi shirt on, which is awesome. And, it's just back and forth. I have investors, we talk about it.
Yes.
And after 5 years of us owning the business, and we see that one out of every 20,000 people questions it, right? It's just one of those things that it is what Zunzi's is at the core. You kind of
Yeah.
have to know who your customer is, and also who it's not.
Yeah, 100%. I think so many of our clients we coach on this too is that you want to have a core audience, and if you are the restaurant for everyone, you have no one. Now, some restaurants make it work, right? Restaurants, let's say like the
Right.
Cheesecake Factory, it blows my mind how big their menu is and how wide and diverse their audience is, right?
Sure.
But I think when you have a core group that you're going after, sure, there's going to be certain variables up and down of different people coming in, fine. But when you have your
Right.
core group, like you said, one of your plays was this hipster person who said this or whatever. Knowing your core audience, knowing your core group is so crucial, I think, for this business, right?
Right.
So talk to us about, obviously you guys have had a ton of success. I know you're consistently growing. I know you said your sales were up, year over year as doing this business, but then COVID hit, right? COVID's been pretty tragic
Right.
for everyone. Arguably one of the worst for the restaurant space in general. You guys have been pretty well equipped for takeout during this time. I know you guys have had some prep work before this, so you guys were a little prepared. But talk to us about what you guys been up to during COVID to not just survive but thrive on through this.
Sure. So, uh, sorry, my screen blacked out for a second.
No worries.
Yeah. So for us, our name is Zunzi's Takeout and Catering. So our core
Yeah.
competency really is off-premise dining, and we spend a lot of time focused on, a strong catering presence. We have, our app. We have a good online ordering platform, and then we're on DoorDash, Postmates, Grubhub, Uber Eats. So we're on the big four on that. And I think that's a challenge for full service and for a lot of restaurants if they haven't put the time and energy to do that. It's a really
Mm-hmm.
hard business to enter. Your packaging is different. I've talked to restaurant owners who say, they're working 3 times as hard, making 10% of the sales they were. It just doesn't make sense. It's a
Mm-hmm.
hard business, and so for us, we kind of saw, well, hey, this, we're set up for this, and so that's been good.
Got it.
Obviously, it has its challenges, and for us, because we're a pretty small operation, it was keeping our team safe. So we made the decision to actually stop doing any walk-in takeout orders. So we don't take any orders just walking up
Got
to
it.
the counter. They're all 100% online ordering and third-party delivery.
Got it. Got it.
And so
Amazing.
that was a concern. We were tracking our sales for those first couple of weeks, and we saw that about 30% of our sales were actually walk up. And so we had concerns if we, at the point that we switched over, how many people could we convert to online ordering or delivery? And so we actually made a big point, and we did a 26% offer for your first time ordering to entice them, when they walked up. not to leave and go somewhere else, but to place an order with us. And we put somebody out there to actually walk them through the process of ordering or downloading the app, creating an account, just to solve that problem for them. And we've probably seen a 95% retention rate, which has been
Wow.
absolutely incredible for us.
You know, it'd
And
be
then what we
really,
do,
you know,
yeah,
we could do, we can do over on this topic, which we got to do now that I just heard this too, is people are still walking up, right? I'm assuming to the door,
they are. Yeah.
right? What we got to do is just right there on your front door is put a big QR code. Someone scans that code, we can drive them to your online ordering site. We could drive them into Messenger, capture the information, then drive them to your menu to make an order, whatever the case. But that way, just big arrow pointing QR code. Hey, want to make an order? Scan this code. Boom.
That's a great idea. Because what we
I think
did is
something
we
kind of
put
cool.
order online, and then we had the discount code newbie for 26% off. And then under it, which we always do for online orders, we do 10% off if you use the discount code shit yeah.
Oh, I
And
love it.
so that just and
Yes.
so yeah, so that's just our shit yeah discount. And we actually don't do a loyalty program. What we tell our guests is if they're already ordering online, then they're basically loyal guests already.
Yeah.
So we go ahead and give them that discount code of 10% each time.
Oh, wow.
And so it's a different philosophy.
Yeah. The QR code might be something kind of cool though. I'll definitely talk to the team after
Yeah,
this phone call to send that up for you guys because that might be worth a shot.
definitely.
Absolutely. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Easy. Boom, boom. Got it. Okay.
I
Perfect.
like it.
And so I know you said, and I know it's been big for you guys overall as a brand, social media in general. I know you said specifically, working with you guys that Instagram has been very crucial for you guys. Talk to us about what you think has
Right.
been so crucial and why.
Yeah, so about a year and a half ago, we made the decision to really go all in on social media. And after following Gary Vaynerchuk, reading all of his books, he's a huge proponent, obviously, of it. And we saw that that's where all of the attention was. So really put a lot of energy into Instagram, getting our followers up, but also really focusing on engagement.
Mm-hmm.
And so now with this happening, that was the first place we went to was, how do we get attention of our guests? And I guess what's been good is we've seen a decrease in really probably the cost associated with getting that attention because there's less advertisers. So
Yes.
we've really, not double down, triple down. We probably, 10x'd our investment on social media, just because we wanted to drive sales. I mean, that was
Yeah.
the biggest thing. It wasn't about really being profitable. It was just, let's see how much sales we can drive during this time
Yeah.
and see how it would work.
And you're absolutely right, Chris. I mean, it's the way that Facebook and Instagram works advertising wise is a bidding system, right? Basic supply and demand. If there's a lot of people trying to advertise to the same people, right, the cost to advertise will go up. And if there's not as many advertisers trying to advertise to a certain demographic, well, the cost will go down, right? Right now, because half the market, specifically in the restaurant space, has basically shut their doors, well, there's a lot less people advertising, right? Now, there's still the same amount of people on the streets that have to eat, right? Out in your local community, right?
Right.
But now there's half the restaurants both open and advertising. So the opportunities, like you just said, are huge. And a great time to capitalize on maybe some of your competitors' competition, right? We told a lot of our clients this is that, think about it. You guys specialize in these really amazing sandwiches. What if there's someone else named, let's say, John in your local area, and John is used to eating at some other sandwich spot, but that place is now closed, but he's still craving a sandwich, comes across Zunzi's, tries you guys, enjoys it. Well, guess what? Now he likes you guys, and he's continuing with you guys because your one's open. Post-COVID, he's still eating with you guys. So for those big opportunities for you guys, absolutely.
Well, and so we're located in the historic district downtown Savannah, and so we're used to probably half of our sales being tourist driven, and so that was really a big concern that we had. And I think it's one of the main reasons why we're not seeing other restaurants opening is they're really tourist dependent.
Got it.
But our sales are flat since COVID. So, we have some days we're up a little bit, some days we're down, but overall over the past month and a half, we've been pretty flat, which has been incredible because we've been able to take locals who haven't eaten there before, and based off of our credit card transaction history over the past 90 days, we can tell that 60% of those guests are new, but we know there's no tourists in town because of the hotel occupancies. It's less than 5%. So social media has driven new guests. And so, we're actually really excited to see once this gets past us, if we can, we've gained so many new guests. We've also gotten their information through whether it's Misfit with the ads we have going through Messenger
Yep.
for our CRM, or through online ordering. We now have locals information that we can market to them as well. And
Absolutely.
then add that on top of catering when that comes back. And then on top with that of tourism, we think we're going to be in a great spot.
Yeah. I think, specifically through our program, we brought about 3,000 contacts in so far, emails, phone numbers, and obviously subscribers on Messenger.
Right. Yeah.
It's killer. And I think so many restaurants overlook this. I talk to a lot of restaurants who still pursue mailer strategies. And I think a lot of people still have a lot of success with mailers. The problem with mailers, though, is you look at the average American, they're not checking their mailbox too often, but they're checking their phones over 100 times a day, right? So
Right.
where do we want to reach these customers? Probably more mobile. But second to that is if you can gain a connection with someone on social media, you can get their phone number or email. Now you can send them out a message or an email whenever you want. Remarketing wise, I mean, it's fantastic. It's especially during this time, right? It's funny for us because
Right.
there's a lot of people that have approached Misfit over the last 6 months and decided, to hold off or whatever the case. Well, they're all knocking on our doors now because they're like, okay, I get it. I need digital marketing. Sounds like you've obviously already, you've known this for a while. You've been investing in it for a long time, and you're seeing the success now, which is fantastic. So sales are flat, which is awesome for you guys. I mean, a lot of restaurants we've spoken to are obviously down. It's amazing that you guys are not just staying afloat, but really thriving on through this, right? You had a pretty amazing idea that came out of this whole situation. So you guys are succeeding as a business during COVID, but also it's led to other innovations and other ideas. Talk to us about your new concept also with it's called Masklip, right?
Correct. So it's
Yeah,
themasklip.com,
perfect.
Masklip. And so what happened was, I had ordered masks. I kind of had a feeling that in order to reopen or to operate once this got bad, there would have to be the proper PPE with masks being one of the main things. So I made the investment about a month and a half ago and got a bunch of those. Once they came in, passed them out to all of my team, and then came back about an hour later. And we're operating in a pretty tough environment in restaurants. They're having a lot of communication, a lot going on, working side by side, social distancing as much as you can. But in the end, it's a restaurant. It's pretty tough. And you got phones ringing, you're entering third party orders, all of these different things. It's really not conducive for wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm.
So they were hanging off ears. They were being set down on surfaces that should be clean, food, for food
Yes.
safety reasons. They were being put in their back pocket, which we joke around now with Masklip, that is your ass mask. You have this thing in
Oh.
your back pocket all day, and then you're put on your face. We're trying to rid the world of ass masks.
Oh.
So
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
and so it's you have this thing that's supposed to be sanitary, but it's really, and that you're supposed to be using all of the time, yet it's really a burden.
Got it.
And so we have enough things to manage right now. You know, resource wise, we don't want to have to be reissuing masks all of the time for our employees more than we have to.
Yep.
So I was like, there's got to be a better way. And I started Google searching. I was like, is there any sort of clip or thing to use for your mask when not in use? And I was looking up in Asia, thinking they wear masks a lot, and I couldn't find anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, really quick, did a sketch of sort of this clip that I thought could work. And then I have a longtime guest of Five Guys and then Zunzi's.
Yeah.
Just a huge fan, but he's also a 19-year Gulfstream engineer.
Wow.
And so,
Okay, that
yeah,
helps.
so
Very cool.
so Gulfstream is based in Savannah,
Mm-hmm.
and so he actually, I reached out to him, and he owns some 3D printers, and it was pretty cool. It was, I was like, hey, I have this idea. Could you maybe just whip it up? We could talk about doing something together. He was like, sure. And then within a day, he had all of the CAD, everything drawn up. And within 48 hours, he had a prototype knocked out on
Wow.
a 3D printer. And so, it's a super simple product. I'm actually using it right here so you can see.
Yes, show us this thing.
So it's just a simple clip, you know. And so the idea of it is basically you're going to slide it off. And so that way, you can pop it on, have it over. And then when it's not in use, it folds up nice and neat. So it's not going to be, won't get contaminated. and then you have it back available. So if you're have your mask on when you're out and about, hop in the car, you don't want to put it
Perfect.
on the seat, or on your dash or whatever, because then also you're contaminating that surface. At the
Mm,
same time, you're taking something that was now clean, that's contaminated, and you're putting it on your face. So the
wow.
key is really, this part of you is probably the cleanest spot that you wouldn't be bumping into things with,
I
and you're
love
able
it.
to keep it basically right under your chin. And then really kind of like a amazing design plus, I'm gonna put this here, is the actual clip. I'll slide it out right here. So pretty small. You can
Yep.
see
Little clip there. Yeah, I see.
that. There we go. Okay, so that actually can slide into your sunglasses, like your Crokies. I don't know if you guys in
Yeah.
California wear these. Maybe more of a southern thing.
Sometimes I've seen him around.
Sometimes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So you got that, and so basically you can take that, get over the headphones, just have it hanging there, and then whenever needed, you just pull it down, pop over your
Oh.
face and ears,
So you
and
got
then
two
drop it
designs
back.
there. I love it.
So there's two designs, so it can work with the Crokies, with your
Mhm.
mask, pops on securely, and that actually just happened to be that the actual design fit perfectly. So it's kind
Wow.
of meant to be. And it makes it easy. I mean, I'm in a shared co-working space. I have to go use the restroom, or I've got to grab a coffee or something. I just have
Yeah.
this here, quickly pop it on, get back in the office. It's
I love
fine.
it. I love it. So I know for
Yeah,
me
and so our
personally, trying these masks on and going around, just going to the market, making a quick run of the market. I mean,
right,
I hate these masks and I hate wearing them all day long, but you know, same thing. Where do you put it when you're done with it? Especially if you're working at a restaurant, right? I think I've gone through so many of them. I think I'm probably
right.
almost out. I don't know what to do next because you just waste them. But this is fantastic. This is probably something that again is not just for a situation that's great for COVID, but probably long term at restaurants. I mean, this might be the new standard practice. I think for restaurants. Would you say so?
Possibly. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the new norm is going to be definitely over the next 12 to 24 months, is that if you have any hint of having a cold, that you're going to probably, it would be frowned upon, it wouldn't be
Yeah.
socially acceptable to go out without a mask on. And so then the key to that is, making it just a part of your life. I say, you've got your watch, you've got your wallet, keys, these things that you always have with you, your phone. Well, your mask is now going to end up being that. And then how do you do it to where it just becomes part of your normal routine? It needs to be accessible. It needs to not be a burden. And so this little
Mhm.
cheap tool does that for us. And so it's patent pending. We've got the name filed for the trademark. And we were able to do
Nice.
all of this in one week. So it was designed
Wow.
on a Sunday. By the end of that week, I had the patent filed,
I love it.
uh, which is incredible. And so we had the corporation formed, everything. I've got
Wow.
a funnel being designed right now that launches on Monday. And so
Wow.
yeah, so it's all happening.
That's so cool. I mean, this is such a great example of responding in a positive way to a tragedy like this versus just reacting, right? Again, so many
Right.
people, when this
Yeah.
happened, they just reacted and they freaked out. And, it's one of those things where going back to mindset, right? If you approach a situation like this and you're saying, this is the worst thing ever, I don't know how we'll survive, the chances that you will survive, I think, are slim to none. I just read this stat this morning. I was talking on this
Right.
last podcast, but I heard that 30% of restaurants that were open before COVID are most likely not coming back after.
Right.
And I bet you a
Which is
large portion of those people,
insane.
it's so sad, it's so crazy, and I hate that is what all the experts are saying in this space. But it's mindset, it's taking action, taking
Right.
initiative, and it sounds like you guys are taking action. I mean, creating this new brand in a week. I mean, that's while running your restaurant. I mean, that's pretty incredible. um, I mean,
Yeah, so
really,
it goes to mindset, and I'm actually looking at the desk that I sat with my core team right as this was happening, and
yeah,
we had an hour conversation. I said the most important thing in all of this was our mindset, that we
yeah,
focused on the things that we control. I said there's now something happening on a macro level that is affecting every single person and every single business in the world,
yeah.
and I said it's one of those things. It's like a tide. It's going up or down. We're all in it, and so we can't focus on that. We're all affected, and
Hmm.
so the key is just to never give up. I
Yeah.
said no matter what happens, and I told them, I said we're going to be I'll be selling peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and lemonade by myself before I give in,
Yeah.
because it's just the only thing you can do.
Yeah.
Um, and so that was our big thing. And also too, from a mindset is, if you look at, unfortunately, the Great Depression, you look at other past recessions, there's always
Yeah.
opportunity in those problems.
Totally.
There's new businesses that are formed. There's new problems that have to be solved. This little Masklip solving a simple problem.
Yeah.
There's a lot more. And so if you're not looking for it, if you're focused on, hey, how am I going to survive this? How am I going to survive this? And you keep saying that thing, you're focused on survival. If you say, how can I find the opportunity? How can I find the opportunity? How
Yeah.
can I make my business better? How can I grow in this process?
Yeah.
Then your mind is going to start thinking about growth and opportunity.
Yes.
And so, your mind, I could talk for days about this. Your mind sets everything.
Oh yeah. They say that you don't really see with your eyes, you see with your mind, right? You
Yeah.
have a natural filtration process of whenever you look out and see the world, your mind is naturally filtering in certain things, right? You might open your eyes and you might see X, Y, and Z, and someone else might see something completely different. But because it's the mindset, their situation, it's the money making mindset, it's the opportunist mindset. It's how do we look at the world and how do we improve it versus this is the worst thing ever. What are we going to do? Right. And
I think
obviously,
also too, one of the things, just saying, how do you, because also too, it's tough. You were asking we're in a tough business. We're in the restaurant business. We're asking our team
yeah.
members to come and work. And so there's this push pull as an owner of the business.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always had the mindset in the business of, more biblical, but, ask and you shall receive.
Yeah.
And I kind of got deep with this, and it was more, I said, if we're going to do this, I said, we're going to, no matter how bad it gets, we're going to give as well.
Yeah.
And so I kind of said, instead of ask, I said, give. So if you give, you shall receive. And we made that a big thing. So, with our marketing, we did a lot of, buy one, donate one family meals. So if still going on and it's going to keep going on, we committed for the entire crisis. We said for every family meal purchased, we would donate one.
I
And
love
then
that.
we also have, and so, it's covering our costs, but it's the way we can give back and also, help others through the process. And the same thing, we wanted to give other people the opportunity to give at this time too, because a lot of people have resources and they don't know how they can help. It's not one of those situations. They may have money, but they don't have the ability to go out and help because of social distancing and being concerned for their family. And so they can, buy a sandwich for somebody else. So we do meals for medical workers where you can buy one, donate one.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so we've been dropping off hundreds of sandwiches since this has happened to hospitals.
I love that.
It's good for our team too, because they get to participate in it as well.
Totally. Buy one, give one deals.
Yeah.
Perfect. It's perfect. Yeah. That's been, I was going to say, that's been a really popular offer amongst some of our other clients as well. I mean, it makes sense. People get it that these first line responders are dealing with a lot. It's difficult to get food for a lot of them. I know for restaurants we've spoken to in New York, it's literally a lottery system now to get food at the market. I mean, you could go to the market and they might literally decline you as a customer. You might not get food. And so think about these first line responders. It's like they're working insane shifts and hours at a very high risk environment. And it's not easy for them to get food. And this is fantastic. I think being able to support your community while also enjoy a fantastic sandwich from Zunzi's sounds like a pretty awesome deal.
Shit yeah.
Shit yeah. I love it. What about for you guys? Have you done anything with like any kind of like family meal packs or group meal packs? I know a lot of people right now have done some tactics to cater towards a large group of people. Obviously families, friend groups are all staying at home eating together.
Right.
Have you guys done anything in line with that or not so much?
Yeah, so we have a small family meal for 3 to 5, and then we do one for 4 to 6. And so it's our Oliver's dinner family meal. It comes with a 32-ounce base, and then it'll come with like 2 fills, so 2 proteins.
Nice.
For the large, and then a side of grilled vegetables, side salad, and then loaf of bread, and it comes with 2 bottles of our sauces.
Oh my God, I gotta get one of these sauces. By the way, they look
good.
amazing. They look amazing.
Yeah.
I have I have a very strong obsession with hot sauces, and I was
I
talking with
got
one
you.
of my,
So our hot
yes,
sauce is the hottest shit sauce.
I
So
oh, it's called the hottest shit sauce.
it's called the hottest shit sauce. I'm making a note to send some to you guys.
Yes, I would absolutely love it. I
So
forgot who it was. There was some company that wanted to work with us. I don't know who. I can't remember the name. I feel so bad, but they sent us some hot sauce, and it's great hot sauce. I just got to figure
yeah.
out where they got it because it was under their own brand too. They're not a restaurant.
Okay.
They're like some kind of third party vendor. I forget, but I was
Yeah.
just so excited.
Gotcha.
Anyway, this is so cool. This is awesome. And so what are your plans with Masklip? Where do you see this going? Are you trying to get it out to restaurants now? Is it currently in production? Do you guys have inventory?
Yeah, so I've got a couple thousand units in inventory. So once we got the final design done, I
Yep.
had my partner just kind of get the production going. So we had that, and I was able to source this past week. Um, I've got a injection mold company who's going to be able to produce, thousands of them for
Wow.
us. And then in the short term, because it'll take about 30 days for us to get that in place, they have a high volume 3D printer that they can produce what we need
Wow.
during that period of time.
All done in
So
the US?
yeah, so it's a US based company, 100%
Love it.
made in the USA. Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. And I think that especially right now, given the circumstance we're all dealing with, is something that people really want. Let's get
Right.
some American made products. So that's fantastic. And
Yeah.
if so you got 1,000 units, you said currently, and you're making some more?
Correct. And so
Got it.
the website should be ready on Monday, May 4th
Nice.
for
Nice.
orders. And so we'll start off with just doing a pack of 5 for $10.
I love
And
it.
yeah, and then we'll also have the option to do bulk orders as well.
Very cool. Very cool. So for any
Yeah.
restaurants hearing this, if
Yeah.
you want to have a safer staff, if you want to not get rid of so many masks and spend your money in that direction, but you want to give your employees one mask maybe per day and give them the ability to use that after their lunch break, check out masklip.com. The Masklip, right? The masklip.com.
But yeah, you got it.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. I mean, I love the idea, Chris. I think this is something really cool. I think so many restaurants could use this. I think so many people in general, so many industries could use this, honestly. Even for myself, speaking from experience, going to the market, I could have used it at the market. I mean, there's a
Right.
lot of use cases. And how have your employees been responding to this whole situation? It sounds like obviously for you as a leader of this company, you have the right mindset kind of going back to that. But, I often say that like your employees, they're going to follow their leader. And how have they been responding? Have they been, have it been morale pretty high given the situation, obviously?
Yeah. So we gave them the opportunity to really make the decisions on how we wanted to operate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because they're the ones who have to be on the front lines every day with everything going on. I can't be there all day, every day.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure they were comfortable. So we ran it for a couple of weeks with taking in-store orders. And unfortunately, people don't, it's so new to people that they forget about social distancing, even if you put lines out.
Yeah.
And there's some people that forget that they can't reach over the glass to point out they want more guacamole or whatever they're getting.
Yes.
And so that made them feel uncomfortable. And,
Got it.
we had to close the doors on that. And, I think it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Mm-hmm.
I've always had the mindset, and especially in the restaurant business, you don't make all your money in one day and you don't lose it all in one day. And it's definitely not a business you can't do by yourself. So we had to be very sensitive to our team, what their needs were, and make sure,
Absolutely.
we had some employees who just didn't want to work. And so we made sure to accommodate them as well.
Got it. And how's it been for you personally? How have you adapted to this? Do you feel like it's been obviously time of growth, development? A lot of people told me it's finally given them some time to really rethink everything, right? Do you feel
Right.
kind of similar?
So yeah, so I actually use the analogy with my partners. As I said, you kind of take your business and look at it like a puzzle and say that puzzle has 1,000 pieces.
Yep.
What COVID did is basically took your business or that puzzle and it dropped it off a building, right? And so what happened is, for some people, you maybe have had 200 of those pieces still together. For others, it's still intact. For others, it's completely broken, whatever it is. And I said, for us, it was kind of like 40% was still there.
Got it.
Just kind of how I felt about it. And so what I said, though, is I said, we have an opportunity through this. I said, we could take that 40% and build off of that, or we could just get creative and just break all of it, right? And say, screw it, say there's no rules. We're not tied to anything. It could be leases. We have a location in Atlanta, whatever it is. Let's not say we're stuck that we have to do anything, right?
Yeah.
Just don't put any restrictions, and let's get creative on how we want to do business and do things moving forward. And I think a lot of people, that's part of what's holding them back, is they're like, well, I have this working and I don't know how to do it. Sometimes you just got to break it all apart and then take all those pieces that are now, that have that whole puzzle that's broken, and then re-put it back together, and it actually might be better than what you had before.
I love that. That is amazing. Yeah, I heard from another client of ours that, this situation has been the ultimate gut check. The ultimate question of, do you love your business and do you love it that much to continue it, right? Because like you said, for what people are dealing with, it's completely shattered so much piece of the business that they had together in one way, and re-putting it all together this new way is going to be difficult for a lot of people, right? And it's been a very interesting experience.
So kind of mindset wise, and just to say it, one of the things for me is I set into it. I said, I kind of had to build some parameters though, and say, okay, our team has to stay safe. I've got to stay safe. I'm married. I have these other responsibilities. I don't, live to work. I work to live. So there's that balance that has to be there. But basically, if I can be safe doing it, there's no way I was going to give up. Right. And because I wanted to know through this process that no matter what happens at the end of it, that I didn't quit, that I did everything I could through that. Even if I have to close permanently, if that did happen, then at least for myself, I knew that I did everything I could. I think that's an important.
Absolutely. Yeah. Doing absolutely everything you can. Because again, I think so many people when this first happened, they just decided I'm out. Right.
Right.
I mean, they just reacted, versus responding, as we call it. But Chris, this has been really, really cool. So again, restaurant owners, or anyone for the matter, if you are interested in checking out the Masklip, it's just themasklip.com. That's with the K. And if you guys are in I know Steve said the Savannah, Georgia location is open. You got the Atlanta location opening. Is it next week?
It is. May 4th. Yep.
So if you are in Savannah or Atlanta, be sure to check out Zunzi's. If you do check out their sandwiches, guys, don't forget to leave saying shit yeah, because these sandwiches look fantastic. And I got to try this hot sauce, by the way. So I'm going to give you my mailing address for that.
Please do.
Absolutely.
Awesome,
absolutely. Well, okay, Chris, it's been such a pleasure. Obviously always been good working with you guys as a client. Sounds like you guys are thriving. Love this new business model you guys got going on, and stay tuned for your guys' next campaign. We'll be in touch real soon.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. See you, Chris.